Hey team, I just wanted to record a quick video giving a recap of what we talked about Monday night at our guest services team meeting for those who couldn't be there, but also just in case you wanted to recap, wanted a refresher what we talked about, want to make this resource available to you. So we'll start with our number one goal for guest services, and that's to make guests feel welcomed and seen so that they could take next steps to follow Jesus. This is our goal. It's important because we are the first face that they see on a Sunday morning, right? Their minds are going to be made up about relevant before Ronnie ever opens his mouth. Right now, I'm reading a book that says the sermon starts in the parking lot. Guests are already starting to evaluate relevant and form opinions about it before they ever get in the seat in the auditorium. And I say all this not to add stress or to freak you out, but to let you know how important guest services is and the impacts that we can have at our roles. So, how do we make guests feel welcomed and seen? Well, it's by ensuring that every guest attending a relevant gathering has a world class guest experience. A world class guest experience is defined by these five things. Team members are trained for their positions. Every guest is warmly greeted when they arrive and given a personal goodbye when they leave. We anticipate needs and we create positive peak moments. So, the first, every team member is trained for their positions. That's the purpose of our team meetings, right? For equipping, for building up, for encouraging. The team meeting is important so that you can feel confident in your role and what we're called to as a ministry. And I want you to feel confident in your role that you're serving in so that our guests can be fully focused on and be comfortable being here. The second and third way we can create that world-class guest experience is by providing a warm greeting and a personal goodbye. That warm greeting is important, that we have that warm and inviting tone as they approach the building, right? As they're forming those opinions and evaluating relevant, like we talked about. That warm greeting with the smile or the wave or the handshake, that can go a long way and help them just be comfortable as they approach relevant. And then that genuine goodbye, like we only get 65 minutes a week with these people, which is not a long time. And so if we can send people off into their week, right, with an attentive and a genuine goodbye, and that can be a positive thing for them so that throughout the week they're remembering that or remembering what Ronnie said or remembering how worship was, but also remembering, just how warm relevant was and welcoming and how kind we were to them. So they can play a really big role in that. That fourth thing is anticipating needs, right? A new place can be nerve-wracking. We've all experienced this. Unfamiliar setting, don't know who anybody is, not knowing what to expect. So it's why it's important that we show and not point. Someone's asking where the kids area is or where the next step area is or, hey, where can I get coffee, right? We're walking them to that place rather than pointing through the crowd of people and might leaving them unsure still. And so if we can walk them to that spot, that just shows our guests like, hey, you matter, and I want to get you where you need to go. And that really can play a big role, especially if it's their first time. So just offering to help, being fully present, it can go a long way. And then that final thing, creating a positive peak moment. We'd love to do this for every single person, but we just know that's not realistic with 11 to 1,200 people that we see on a Sunday. And so we want to do for one what we wish we could do for all. And so whether it's showing, not pointing, whether it's introducing yourself, whether it's kind of being vulnerable, like, hey, how was your week? Like, did you have a good week? I want to hear about your week, And for guests, though, specifically, we would like to do this for first-time guests. And it's hard to know if they're a first-time guest, but if they go to the new area and pick up a pamphlet, that's one way we can identify that they're a first-time guests. If they're kind of standing around lost, we can maybe even make a conclusion that this is their first time or at least their first couple times being here. And so we want to introduce ourselves. We want to make our presence known. And so the big reason that we want to be welcoming and friendly is that someone was welcoming and friendly to us, right, when we first started coming here. And so we want to be able to provide that same thing back to them. Even outside of church, the places that you want to go back to, the places that you return to, they're the places that create these positive emotions, create these positive experiences. So let's do our best to do that. And that's why on Monday night, I kind of introduced 4 values that I just love for our ministry to fully encompass and take ownership in. That's not only going to help us be more effective in our positions, but also just help us in life so that we can be more transformed into everything God created us to be. So these 4 values are: be compassionate, be contagious, be confident, and be consistent. To be to be compassionate means that we see every person as someone Jesus sees and cares about. Right? We can be compassionate by wanting every guest to be seen and feel welcomed, introducing ourselves, smiling, making eye contact with them. Another way we can be compassionate is to meet people where they are, right? Approach them, show them where they want to go. Just be present in that moment with that guest. And then the final way that we can be compassionate is just to reflect Christ's love by serving others with humility and a genuine care, right? Like I just mentioned, like we're being fully present, we're making eye contact, we're in that conversation with that guest as opposed to looking around or maybe even seeming distracted. So be compassionate, seeing everybody as someone Jesus sees and cares about. The second thing is to be contagious. We can be contagious by wanting to create a welcoming and atmosphere full of joy that others want to be a part of. Ways that we can be contagious is to smile first, speak first, and serve first. Right? Hospitality is proactive, it's not reactive. So that's why we're anticipating needs and doing our best to be present with the guest. The final way that we can be contagious is that, our welcome and our joy inspires guests to feel comfortable and open to taking next steps to follow Jesus. For me, I can think of the kind of the opposite scenario. Like, if we're not opening doors, or we're kind of grouchy, I guess, or not smiling and not being terribly welcoming, like it's going to make that guest feel uncomfortable, might create anxiety, might even create frustration. And we both know like that definitely won't provide that opportunity for them to take a next step to follow Jesus, or at least it'll make it much more difficult. And so if we can be welcoming and we can be joyful in our environments, that's just going to make a guest feel comfortable, let their guard down, and then by the grace of God, they can take that next step to follow Jesus. Our next value is to be confident. We want to serve boldly, having confidence in our role, knowing that the impact we have. And a way we can be confident is that because we know God uses us to prepare people's hearts for Him. Most of us can think of ways that others have been used to prepare our hearts, right? The way others have had positive interactions or positive impacts in moments that helped us. And so we can be confident because, God may want to do that with us for somebody else. Another way we can be confident is just that we're well prepared and trained, which gives us the freedom to focus fully on the person instead of our task, right? Using those play cards, remembering how to create a world-class guest experience. Using those resources can create confidence in us so that we can fully focus on loving and welcoming the people, as opposed to like fully focusing on, what do I do next? Do I need to open this door? Where's the creamer and stuff like that? And so, that just allows us to fully focus on the person. The final way we can be confident is that we lead with courage and a calm energy, right? Even when things aren't going well. Someone may not already be in a good mood and might say something that could irritate you. The weather may not be perfect. Something's probably going to happen on a Sunday you're serving, but no matter what, we can stay calm and be confident in our roles and where we're at. And then that final value is to be consistent. We want to be excellent and dependable in our positions. Right? A way we can be consistent is by providing a reliable experience every time someone walks through that door. If a guest knows what to expect with the position, no matter who's in that position, it's far more likely that they'll be comfortable, and in turn, they'll be willing to take next steps to follow Jesus, right? Because that's our goal, like I mentioned, that people would be comfortable enough and willing to take next steps to follow Jesus. Another way we can be consistent is by creating trust, by being reliable and punctual and prepared. Guests begin to trust us individually, as a team, as a church, if we're reliable in our positions, punctual when we're helping them, and we're prepared for our role. And then the final way that we can be consistent is we want to always exceed the expectations of our guests. Our excellence isn't occasional, it's a daily offering to God, and it's a weekly offering when we serve His people. Right? We want to show our guests where the bathroom is. We want to show them where that kid's check-in is. We want to help them find a seat. We want to show rather than point. Right? Us being the best that we can be at our positions is so much more than me asking you to do a good job, but like we're truly serving and looking more like Jesus when we're doing all of these things. And so those are our 4 values that I just love for us to be maybe more intentional about and consistent about if we're not already doing that naturally. To be compassionate, be contagious, be confident, be consistent. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about some new things that we'll be implementing, just so that you're aware of the changes that we made on Monday moving forward. So the big thing is we're going to start waiting until 15 minutes after our gatherings start to leave positions. Man, we're just noticing that they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and people are still showing up 10, 12, 13, 14 minutes after that has started. And we want to be there and available for them as they walk in, to hold the door, to get them coffee, to find their seat. And so, I understand that's 5 more minutes that you'll have to be there, but just remembering, right, the reason that we're doing this and the impact that it can have. We just want to be available to our guests, to love on them, and to welcome them to Relevant. Another thing is we've been having first gathering huddles at 8:15, 30 minutes before that first gathering starts. We're going to start having second gathering huddles at 10 a.m., 30 minutes before that 10:30 start. And guys, these huddles are just super, super valuable. And I only communicate with you through email or text for the most part throughout the week. And these huddles are really the only time I get to see you face to face, can interact, can talk to you face to face. And so they're just super valuable for me to update you on things changing, or maybe things to note for that gathering that day that you would need to know. But man, it's also a time for me to encourage you and to affirm you, and for us to pray together as a team, unified under one goal, one vision, right, to glorify Jesus and stuff, and before we go out. So these are super important, and I just want to encourage us to make them a priority, even in first gathering. If you've already been going, 8:15 for first gathering, 10 o'clock for second gathering. We want to be there so that we can gather as a team and be present together before we go out to our positions. And then I'm going to start setting play cards out on that island on Sundays with the lanyards. I really would encourage you to take a play card that matches the position you're serving in that day. It can just be super helpful, even if you're somewhat doubting what to do next, or if a certain thing is your job or not. You can pull that play card out, you can look at it, you can check, and then be good to go. Put that back in your pocket and be fully present on our guests. I'm always around for questions, but I got a lot of places I got to be on a Sunday, and I may not always be around on a specific Sunday. And so just have those play cards ready in case you need to check something, so that you can do your job well, with confidence, with consistency, and then with compassionate, and with a contagious attitude. So those are the main things we talked about on Monday night. And just thank you for how you serve. Thank you for the way you serve, and the manner in which you do it. It does just make such a huge impact. And I pray that you would remember that it's more than just a position, right? It's more than just the greeting position, or more than just the usher position. It's more than a position. It's a posture of our hearts, and a posture of serving Jesus and advancing his kingdom. So just may you never give more just attention to what you do, more than to why you do it, right? The why behind serving, the why behind welcoming these guests and doing what we do. So just thank you so much, for the way you serve, and how often you serve, and how willing you guys are willing to step up, willing to fill in, willing to help at Encounter. You guys just do so much, and I'm encouraged by our team. I'm encouraged by the willingness and just the energy that our team brings, and being the first faces that people see on a Sunday. So thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Goodbye.